Today, we're diving straight into what I can only call a massive structural shift for one of the most widely used platforms on the planet. If you've been tracking Uber, you know they just wrapped up their incredibly product-heavy Go Get event in New York City. And look, what came out of that event? It wasn't just, a handful of neat little consumer updates. For those of us looking at the underlying business strategy, this was a flashing neon sign signaling an aggressive, massive expansion. We're talking about Uber completely redefining its entire footprint. So it brings up this incredibly strategic question for us to ponder. Is Uber actually building the Western super app? I mean, for years, investors have watched companies try to replicate that everything app model that just dominates other global markets. Well, Uber's newest feature, direct hotel bookings, it really isn't just a nice little perk for travelers. This is a massive total addressable market, or TAM, expansion. They are stepping directly into the multi-billion-dollar travel and hospitality sector and weaving it seamlessly into an app that millions of us are already opening every single day. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our roadmap for today. 1. Uber enters hotel bookings. 2. The Expedia Growth Partnership. 3. Expanding Uber One's flywheel. 4. How agentic AI accelerates their development. And 5. The Everything App Strategy. All right, Section 1. Uber enters hotel bookings and pushes way beyond ride-hailing. Okay, let's get right to the bottom line up front. U.S. customers can now book hotels directly through the Uber app. Boom. This was the absolute flagship announcement from Wednesday's Go Get event in NYC. Uber is officially no longer just how you get from point A to point B. By integrating hotel bookings, they're embedding themselves so much deeper into our lives. They're positioning the app to capture the entire travel journey, literally from the second you lock your front door to the exact bed you sleep in across the country. Now, this isn't just speculation on our end, okay? This is their stated executive vision. Just listen to this quote from Uber CEO Dara Khosrowshahi from the event. He said, "Uber is now an app for everything, where you can go, you can get, and now you can travel." He was super specific in noting that they're no longer just an app for rides or even two apps for rides and eats. Nope, this is about deep, daily ecosystem integration. Because think about it. If they can capture your travel accommodation, they capture a highly lucrative slice of your disposable income. Moving on to Section 2, the Expedia Growth Partnership, a calculated executive move. So you might be wondering, how exactly does a ride-hailing company become a massive global travel agency overnight? Well, now what's really interesting here is this staggering number, 700,000. That is the number of worldwide hotels Uber customers will have access to right at launch. 700,000. They obviously didn't build this inventory from scratch, right? That would take decades. Instead, they unlocked immediate, insane global scale through a strategic partnership with Expedia Group. And for those of you connecting the strategic dots out there, remember that CEO Dara Khosrowshahi actually led Expedia for 12 years. He knows that exact business inside and out. It makes this a brilliantly executed, high-trust integration that instantly validates Uber's bold presence in the travel market. But wait, they aren't stopping at traditional hotels. Uber also announced that vacation rental inventory from the startup Vrbo will be added to the app later this year. This tells us right away that their travel inventory expansion is aggressive and it's ongoing. They're actively targeting totally different segments of the travel market, from the quick business trips and hotels to the big family vacations and rentals. It's creating this incredibly strong gravitational pull into their ecosystem. The more options they have, well, the harder it is for a user to ever want to leave the app. All right, Section 3, expanding Uber One's flywheel and monetizing the ecosystem. So all this new inventory is fantastic, but how do they actually monetize it consistently? And this brilliantly illustrates the financial mechanics designed to drive serious recurring subscription revenue. Just consider this comparison. For a standard user, you get standard pricing, but look at the pitch for an Uber One member. They get a 20% discount on a rolling list of 10,000 hotels when booked through the app, and more importantly, members receive 10% back in Uber credits on all bookings. Just think about the unit economics of that flywheel for a second. You book a $1,000 hotel stay, you get $100 back in Uber credits, and what are you going to use those credits for? Probably your Uber rides from the airport, or maybe ordering Uber Eats straight to your hotel room. It's a beautifully closed-loop system that locks in capital, drastically reduces user churn, and significantly boosts the customer lifetime value, or LTV, for the entire platform. On to Section 4, agentic AI accelerates development and slashes R&D costs. Okay, so deploying a massive operational expansion like this usually takes a monumental engineering effort. So how in the world did they do it so fast? Consider this stark contrast in development cycles.
Chief Technology Officer Praveen Napali-Naga revealed that under traditional software development, building out these hotel bookings would have taken at least a full year. Going through initial development, building, rigorous testing, endless debugging. But by utilizing agentic AI workflows, specifically using tools like Cursor, Uber went from a mere idea to a full launch in the app within just months. The CDO actually called this a fundamental reset and a totally new way of building software. They literally cut the time frame in half.
So, the crucial point is really captured right here in this quote from the CTO. He says, "Our problems generally at Uber, it's not the problem of not having ideas. It's just always the problem of we don't have enough time or resourcing to build these things." Agentic AI essentially solves Uber's historical development bottleneck. With their engineers adopting these AI workflows, they are actively slashing their R&D costs and massively increasing their deployment velocity. They can iterate and capture brand new markets way faster than ever before. It's a real game changer.
Let's hit Section 5, the Everything App Strategy and completing the Super App Vision.
That unparalleled speed allows them to execute on this final strategy. Let's move to and see how this builds a virtually inescapable consumer ecosystem. Because of this AI-accelerated approach, they didn't just launch hotels, guys. They dropped an entire suite of integrations. We've got the worldwide hotels and the upcoming Vrbo rentals. We have a brand new AI-powered voice bookings feature and a widespread search tool. They launched a travel mode that gives users guides covering tourist hotspots and local favorites right where they're visiting. They extended that travel mode to Uber Eats with a new room service hub for those commonly forgotten travel items. Oh, and they even rolled out Eats for the Way for Uber Black, which lets its customers order a drink or a snack that will literally be waiting right there in the vehicle when it picks them up. It is an absolutely overwhelming, rapid expansion of their total service footprint.
And remember, this loop is still growing as we speak. Future rollouts for that room service feature will eventually include curated dining recommendations and even the ability to book a table directly through OpenTable. They are seamlessly connecting travel, accommodation, local discovery, and dining, all strictly within the confines of the Uber app. Which leaves us with this final, incredibly provocative question for anyone tracking this space. If agentic AI is cutting their software development time in half, and fundamentally resetting how quickly they can build and deploy complex global integrations, what industry will Uber disrupt next? I mean, they've already conquered rides, they've conquered local delivery, and now they are aggressively pursuing global travel and hospitality. This structural shift is incredibly real, and their velocity is only increasing. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, for focusing in and for learning alongside us. Definitely keep a close eye on this platform's evolution. See you next time.